Thank you for coming to CCBC School of Health Professions CAS workshop online. Due to COVID-19, we are actually not in the office right now, but we did want to provide you with a bit of assistance. Note that at the top of the CCBC page, and I'm going to put those links at the bottom for you as well. At the top of the CCBC page, there is a link about COVID-19, and it's the best place to get information about what's happening at CCBC due to the COVID outbreak. Note that also on this page, you see click here for COVID updates and frequently asked questions. The company that manages this program does provide some information about their COVID policies as well. Let's get started. If this is your first time to this page, I want you to pay attention to a couple of quick facts. First thing, if you Googled this application, you may have the wrong or an old link. shp.liaisoncas.com is the beginning of the correct URL you should be using. If your URL says CCBC at the top of the page, .liaisoncast.com, then that is the incorrect link. Please ccbc.liaisoncast.com. You can access this by going to ccbcmd.edu/shp, selecting the program of choice, and then on the right side of the page, you'll see Apply to the program. That will take you to the correct link. Next thing to note is that this program, the application, does not work well with Internet Explorer or IE. You should use Chrome or Mozilla Firefox to access this program for best use. If you haven't been here before, click on Create an Account. That's how you'll get started. If you have been to this page before, use the same username and password you used previously. Let's get started. This page is the dashboard. Once you log in, this is what you're going to see. This page shows what we call the quadrants. So there's section 1 of personal information, academic history, supporting information, and program materials. You also have notifications on the left and a few other things I'm going to point out to you on your dashboard. Here in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a blue circle with a white question mark. Click on that. When you're having problems with this application, if you're concerned that your transcripts were sent more than, if there were paper applications, they were sent more than 10 business days ago, or if they're electronic transcripts, they were sent more than 3 or 4 days ago, and they're not showing, this is where you're going to click and get some assistance. The folks at Liaison who are up in Watertown, Massachusetts, are willing and able to assist you 9 to 5 through Monday through Friday. Ebony is already filled in. That's my name. Your last name is going to also be filled in. Your CAS ID is also going to be filled in. Same thing for your phone number and email address. You want to confirm your email address, select a topic, and then explain what your concern is. They will get back to you pretty quickly. They're all working from home, but they have full access to the system and are able to assist all customer-client questions. So I'm going to go back to my application. You'll note that colors are they're action items. So green is something I have seen and blue is something I can do. You'll also note that there are check marks and there will be exclamation points. If I click here and go into biographic information, or at least look at it, I'll note that I have a check mark here. There's a check mark for contact information. There's a check mark for citizenship information. But race and ethnicity does not have a check mark. It has an exclamation point. If I go in, I will note that that means I need to take a look at this area. Either I need to fill out stuff and no, I'm not really Cuban. I just put that there. I was checking out everything. You select what you would like to choose, what's appropriate for you. And then when you finish, the blue area is something you can do. This is where you click. When you first log in, this area may be grayed out. That's okay. When you've answered the questions, it turns from gray to blue, and blue is something you can do. Once you do that, you will get a check mark here, and you're going to get part of your circle filled out here. So let me check and make sure. Maybe I want to change Cuban to Puerto Rican, or I want to be both, if that's my heritage. Maybe I would like to be Asian today instead of Native American. You'll note that there are a lot of types of Asian listed, but that's, whatever you need to put in, you put in. I like to play with the system because I have to work here and be able to answer questions. So I'm going to put in various things to see how they turn out on the other side for me. Once I click, I have reviewed this information. You'll see it's saved successfully. I have a check mark here, but I also have a check mark on the left side by race and ethnicity. I am now 4/5 of the way completed with this section. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. When you finish with each section, these circles will turn completely green with a check mark. Supporting information, program materials, and academic history are really important, and we're going to actually go into academic history next. This section you will have already put in colleges attended. I have already put them in. If you're returning, you already have that information, but you can always change that information. If you're new to this application, you're going to come in here, you're going to add a college, you're going to put in the actual year that you started and the year you completed, or if you're in progress, you're going to list in progress. The reason is when you go to enter in your coursework, you need to have those years showing for you, and I'll show you that in a second. Please take a moment to read these directions before you get started. There's some important information there. You'll note that I have 3 colleges listed as being attended. Beijing Foreign Studies University is something that I made up. Community College of Baltimore County and Morgan State University. These 2, Community College of Baltimore County and Morgan State University, both have a download transcript request form, but Beijing Foreign Studies Student University does not. The reason is if you have a WES or an ECE evaluation, we do not want you to send it to Watertown, Massachusetts. We want you to send it to CCBC. If you have already sent the WES eval or the ECE eval to the Community College of Baltimore County's registrar's office, you do not need to send a new one. We will look at what's already on file. The download transcript request form is for any program that requires official transcripts to be sent in. So when you click on it, this is what the form looks like. If you're requesting paper transcripts, this is going to go along with your transcript. Note that the transcript matching form here has the CAS ID number. It has the last name, the first name, and then the specific to the college you attended. So there's a different page for each college you went to. If you're doing an electronic request, which most of you are right now, and yes, your colleges are still sending electronic transcripts, even if college is closed. So go ahead and request it. This is the information in this upper right-hand corner that you want to include on that electronic request. At some point, it may say, do you have a code, a user ID? They call it any kind of thing they want to call it, honestly. This is the information you want to put on. If your college is not asking for that information, then add this number, upper right-hand corner, to the address to line. So you know how you have your address 1 and you put in your address, and then address 2 is usually used for something like APOs or really long specific things. Like if I had to put CCBC and then I had to put our building and our address and everything, I might use address 1 and address 2. Use that address 2 line and put this number in there if your college is not requesting that number anywhere. Note that there are some directions at the bottom of the page, and here's the mailing address as well. It's a P.O. box for our program. One other thing to pay attention to is that this link that I showed you is not for dental hygiene and it's not for CASPA. They have separate links. You will need to use that information because they have different requirements. So go back to CCBC, click on your program on the left side of ccbcmd.edu/SHP, click on your program, dental hygiene or CASPA, and then follow the admission guidelines or programs either to the right of that page or at the bottom of that page, depending on the program. Dental hygiene is a little bit different. You must submit all transcripts to Liaison or Watertown, Massachusetts. I want to show you a couple other things on this page. Applicant uploaded transcript. I have a green line and a check mark. Why is that? Because one of the programs I applied to does not require official transcripts to be sent in, but it requires an upload. There are 3 types of requirements, and they are actually listed here at the bottom. They are needs official transcripts, no transcripts needed, or unofficial transcripts required. Note that nursing, vet tech, radiography, these are some of the programs that require official transcripts, whereas computed tomography does not. If one of your programs does not require an official transcript, then you don't have to upload one. If your program requires an unofficial transcript, you don't have to upload that either. Sorry if you can hear my dog walking around in here this morning. Unofficial transcript, then you would upload the unofficial if that's a requirement. Just check here at the bottom for the program requirements. Check also in your application packet back at ccbcmd.edu/SHP. Before I conclude this part 1 of the workshop, I do want you to note that at the top, there is a bell with a number here. Also to the left, it says view my notifications. They're the same thing. Please take a moment to see what your notifications are. If you click on the bell, it says I have 3 new notifications, and those are the bolded ones. And I had one from yesterday from where I sent my reference request. Some programs require references and some do not. This is a request submitted, respond, letting you know what has happened with that so far. Another thing I would like for you to pay close attention to and check often is the Check Status tab in the upper right corner. This tab is going to show any recommendations you have, the programs you've started your application for and or completed, if any transcripts have been received, if they've arrived, not arrived, or are just not required, and what your application status is. Application status is in progress right now because I have not paid for any of the applications. But if I were to pay for one, I would change to received. Once my transcripts are received, the in progress to received turns into complete. Once applications are complete, that's when the folks in Watertown, Massachusetts will do their part at reviewing an application. Our office will then look at it once it becomes verified for the majority of programs. Certain programs will not verify, but we'll still look at them at complete. Computed tomography, MRI, and I think vet tech are a couple of programs that may not get all the way to verified, but they'll stop at complete. Massage therapy is another one. But again, I'm going to put a link at the bottom. This one is going to say application instructions. Make sure you read through that. It has more information about everything I'm saying, including which programs will go from complete or verified. If your application does not say verified, and you're not one of the programs listed in that packet that does not need to verify, who does not need to do complete data entry or send in official transcripts, then you need to follow up with that about 10 days after you've paid for your application to find out why. And again, that's using this blue question mark at the top. Okay, again, I'm Ebony Thomas Butler. Our office email is shpc@ccbcmd.edu. You'll find that link at the bottom. Stay tuned, come back, get a glass of water, get a glass of wine, get a glass of coffee, whatever works for you, and we'll do part 2 in a few minutes. Thanks.